Hey, welcome to Parachums and JD and OGs. We're doing Chumming with the Spirits, and we thank you so much.
Over there.
We really appreciate you coming out with us tonight. We're going to talk about something that he wants to talk about, which is great because it's really late at night and we've been drinking all day. But saying this, I just want to let you guys know.
All day's kind of a misnomer.
Yeah, we've been having some paranormal experiences.
This was your idea topic.
No, it was your topic. But I think we should do it because you have more experience on it.
Okay.
So during our drinking all damn day, and
Half day.
half day. Yeah, you're right. 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
What time is it now?
11.
Okay, so we've been there for 9 hours. We've been having a lot of
Drinks?
that and experiences, which is not cool.
I think it's cool.
I'm good with this.
Only because Cell Block 3 is in my house. So we're a little disheveled. Well, I am anyway. I think you seem pretty relaxed with it.
What does that mean? Disheveled.
I'm off.
He's
my
not
game.
shoveled?
I shovel the front steps already a little
Disheveled
bit.
means you're out of...
I'm out of whack.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I
discombobulated.
never heard that term before.
Sounds like she's up.
Yeah, she was talking earlier.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's not an evil spirit.
Debunked.
I thought you were saying it's not a big deal. What's going on?
What is it now? We know it's not an evil spirit. So, hey Larry, Parachum, what's up, my man? What are we gonna talk about?
He's getting to that point.
Tonight we will talk about the Poltergeist.
Okay, I thought we were talking about vibrators again.
Probing.
Could be the same thing.
Okay, let's do this.
So, I don't know if I necessarily
Have it over.
know off the top of my head the actual
Does he always talk with his hands? No shit.
the actual definition of poltergeist. Do one of you guys know?
That's what we got phones for.
Okay, well, would one of you
Whoa!
like to look it up?
Whoa! I'm in between this.
I
Stop
can look it up real quick.
So, I think, there is a definition for poltergeist.
Yeah. I mean, what
do I think?
Yeah, what do you think when you hear poltergeist? What type of activity?
I think about haunted, violent activity. That is usually caused by a girl that is going through pubescent years.
So
That's causing this activity.
You're blaming it on
unintentional.
So according to Webster,
You don't have any girls, so you don't have to worry about it.
according to Webster, a poltergeist is a ghost or other supernatural being supposedly responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises and objects thrown around. A poltergeist is a noisy, usually mischievous ghost held
Chair
to be
stacking.
responsible for unexplainable noises such as rappings.
And what creates the poltergeist?
Well, that's where we're going to get into.
Okay. Because that sounds like everything you just said sounds like my wife. I'm kidding. She's an angel.
Slapping the cabinets open. Yeah.
Stacking chairs.
So, how would you separate that from an intelligent haunt or residual haunting that does the same thing?
Well, no.
How do you tell the difference?
So most poltergeist activity is abrupt, quick, and no communication, no reason. It's just random doors, like everything just all of a sudden just starts happening and then just stops. Or
But can't a ghost?
Or continues. I mean, I've seen some
Yeah.
where things are getting thrown out of the drawer, cabinet doors, dishes.
yes, a ghost, an intelligent haunt could do that.
Can a demon do that?
Yeah, but there's usually a lot more than just items. So like what it is it's usually chair stacking. Like all your chairs end up on top of your table, or they move out of the room and they're in another room and circle, or they're stacked like. Well, like one of the ones at a certain ranch was talking about where they came in, had a load of groceries, and they put all the groceries away, walk out, heard noise, step back in the kitchen, and all the groceries are back in the bags.
So
That would piss me off. You know how long it takes me to unload all the groceries?
Yeah.
Well, not me because I can't afford to buy any. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Just because the prices are high.
Yeah.
So
that's no random discernible pattern, nothing for provoking. It just happens.
But if you're dealing with an intelligent haunting, how would you be? How do you say that it's an intelligent haunting, not a poltergeist? Because a poltergeist is non-random happenings. But couldn't an intelligent haunting?
You asked, Parachum.
But do you see where I'm going? Like
this is how you'd figure that out. You'd use tools at your hand, like somebody mentioned, a digital voice recorder. Because if you're catching EVPs, that's an intelligent haunt. If you're not catching EVPs, more than likely, we now can move to other possibilities. It's you break it down and eliminate all your options.
But let me go further. One past on that one. Is there empirical evidence to state that poltergeist can't produce EVPs?
Or say that again.
Is there quantifiable empirical evidence to say that a poltergeist haunting can't produce EVPs?
Yes, absolutely. Because if it can produce an EVP, that's intelligence. It's no longer a poltergeist, it's an intelligent haunt.
Well, see, I always thought poltergeist was brought on by an adolescent female.
You're really going to stick to that.
No, I'm
You're
just
trying to get canceled. No.
I'm not trying. But that's what I've read that.
No, there is a theory, and it doesn't. It's generally any pubescent teen.
Yeah. But usually it's female. Because it's emotional.
Yeah.
So
usually. But I mean, well.
And I mean no disrespect by that.
No. There's a lot of theories that it generally, when you're getting that type of activity in a house, it's caused by people in the house, and it's like a tuba.
Yes.
So
it's self-manifesting.
I'm not trying to get us canceled on this one, but I have a.
Well, don't do it.
I have a real.
Obsession.
Not obsession,
chocolate.
but interest in knowing what you guys would think. So it's typically more pronounced in adolescent women as opposed to adolescent men. A poltergeist having
from my
occurred.
understanding.
Does that mean an adolescent transgender, not I don't even know what,
go there.
Did he say
transgender man that identifies as a woman would induce more of a poltergeist, or do you think it's chemistry related?
No, we move on from that.
Yeah.
No, that's a serious question, because if it's all in a mental state of mind,
it's not.
or is it more biochemistry related?
It's actually going to be capabilities.
It's going to be a long night with that.
Because, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When we're talking about it, the people that generally can manifest that stuff are mediums to extra large. They just don't know that.
And more than likely, mediums are female in nature.
Yes.
The proclivity to be medium.
Okay, well, let's touch on that. Let's touch on that.
I was going to go into that.
Let's open that. Okay, so men that are mediums,
Mediums.
Or extra larges.
medium.
Or double X.
What I've found so far, and even I'm new to this. I'm new to the paranormal world. I've only been doing it for like 15 years or so.
There's ghosts younger than that.
So, the men medium that I have come across.
You're not going there, are you?
I am. Happen to be gay. They're
And you guys made fun of me for my question.
No, that's not making fun.
He's trying to bring your question into some relevance.
Oh, wow.
And you're welcome.
And
Thank you.
trying to state that maybe
And
more
and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being gay. I'm just saying they just be more in tune and more sensitive, even though that's what mediums are called, sensitives, that they happen to be gay and they're more sensitive to their surroundings, and it just seems to come off that way. I mean, I don't know very many medium men that are straight.
I don't know any.
I just don't.
come to think of it, like people on TV, I don't know any.
Yeah, name one.
I can't.
And I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm a sensitive dude. I would say I'm a sensitive dude. I'm an ex-kickboxer. I'm an ex-athlete. I'm a father. I was being called a hard ass, but I'm still a sensitive guy, right? But I'm straight.
Sure.
Do I have to prove that?
Yeah.
Well, you looked at me like you looked at me like you wanted confirmation, and I'm like, what am I supposed to say?
So let's say, because I'm half drunk, if not all the way drunk.
We just finished the whole bottle.
I've seen stuff that it makes me think about, and I've had people tell me, "Hey, you have an aura."
I've seen shit that'll turn your hair white.
Too late.
Shit, that explains everything. No, but I think you were on.
I was trying to go down a good path.
No, I mean,
maybe I'm too drunk to go down.
No, you. So what you're saying is where mediums are generally females. I also, I'm gonna bring it up. It's part of our culture. Men. Well,
we don't believe that shit.
Well, you're not allowed to. Let's be honest. You're not. You know, if you believe and talk about that stuff, you
when
get
my
shunned.
kids are around, I'm more of a hard ass.
Yeah,
I am. Because I have to be. That's my job, right?
I think from a young age, it's even for kids.
Okay.
I mean, because you have boys that see stuff, you have girls. That see
I like
stuff.
where you're going.
I like where you're going too.
As we culturally develop,
Culturally appropriate.
we have a tendency to suppress boys from that type of fantasy thinking,
as well as telling kids, that's just your imagination.
Yes.
So this is all compounding with that. Okay,
Yeah.
I really
And
like
then
this, Jeremy.
where females, in generally, not always, but in generally, are more emotional and can multitask, meaning that they can be emotional and do tasks at the same time. It doesn't affect them as much compared to most boys.
Or multi-emotional.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
personalities
that's
too.
why women,
You know,
that's why women are just more dominant than us.
in a lot of those aspects. So, and they've already done.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to fill him up again.
He doesn't have anything there. He's going to take a sip of his.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to drink that.
So, boys generally can't be emotional and do something at the same time.
No.
Most. So we shunt that off. Most boys, tough it up.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah. And we shut some of that emotional response down so we can do stuff, because we can't do both. You can't cry and solve a puzzle. You're either going to solve the puzzle or you're going to cry.
Thank you so much for saying what I was thinking.
So girls can cry and solve the puzzle at the same time and then throw it at your head.
Well, there's women, you know.
So I think because of that capability,
and those capabilities, they are.
I mean, well, that's why most soothsayers and divines and most of the time were females.
Older women. Yeah.
It's just that.
This is why I look up to them so much. I mean, I'm being serious here.
I'm not judging you.
I mean,
Your wife's 5'1" and you're 6'3".
if I get sick, you know, stomach flu, I am the biggest puss you've ever seen.
It's because as men, it's very hard for us to have.
My wife just had 2 discs put in her neck yesterday.
And fucking
look at her. She's out there cooking chili for us and cookies. And
but again, she's capable.
I could not do that.
Yeah, we're not built that way. We're not built to. You either deal with the cold or do your work. And a lot of people don't understand that. That's why you're either sick or you're not, because you're either going to do work or you're going to be sick. It's very hard for us to split that.
Yes.
So getting back to what we were saying, I wasn't trying to stray us. I do apologize for that.
I don't think we should.
Yes, I would say that's part of the reason why you see it in mostly pubescent females. So one of the theories is a manifestation.
This is why we pay him $5 an hour.
Yeah, I'm totally
this is
worth
what?
$6, but I only get $5.
Well, you know what? You're never going to get paid.
At least you're getting paid.
Just be happy you're getting $5. Okay.
Because they're so open, and again, they're probably the people that are generating this are even more open would have been at one point in time classified as probably a witch or a medium or whatever.
Yeah.
The sad part is because of those events, usually will shut them down. Like they don't pursue that because it's traumatic when you're having chairs and stuff move. The other theory is it is just a manifestation, or it's a.
Is it because men just like, oh, okay, well, what it is what it is, or that's because of this. We make excuse. Like you guys have accused me many times. You're making excuses for what's going on here, Dave.
No, we deny a lot. I mean, because like you only got two options. Women have a multitude of options. I mean,
and can deal with it on different levels, right?
We cannot deal on different levels. We have to deal with it at a comprehensive
A or
level.
B.
Yep.
Yeah, and for the most part, men, when it's something they don't understand, we're gonna say didn't happen because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, it doesn't compute, so it doesn't function.
Or we don't talk about it, right?
Yeah.
We just suppress it.
Yeah.
Versus where women, so we have to suppress it for us to function. I mean, plain and simple. Because if you take the time to pull that out of the box and try to examine it, now you got 15 fucking boxes and you haven't done anything all day.
This may be going out in left field, but a good example of what he's trying to describe is the Mel Gibson movie What Women Want.
Yeah.
He now all of a sudden has the ability to hear women all at once, and he can't function because it's driving him nuts because he can't focus on one thing.
But later on, he's able to adjust his way of doing things to deal with that.
And becomes more feminine by doing it, which I think you were trying to lead to. Like one of my favorite mediums out there that you've met, I have not, is Chip Coffey. Heard good and bad things about him. He's impressed me very much on TV with like Josh Gates and some other things.
And I've heard he's a phenomenal person.
He is feminine and he's gay, but he has an ability to process things. I mean, I think it kind of goes with that. As you are more emotional, which is not a bad thing. It's just a different type of characteristics. I think he's more capable of handling multiple things than what I am.
And I'm more, you guys,
and maybe it's a learned thing.
You guys have met my wife. She's a wonderful person, but she's also tough character. Where on the emotional side, I'm a wreck, right? I get emotional and I hurt for people. I feel for people. I'm really empathetic, and that's damaged me a lot. Not even my work life with sales.
But that's also why you are in sales, because it's one of your knacks. Yeah. You know that, right? I mean, it draws you to it because you like people.
I do, and I want to help them. And like yesterday, I just cost myself thousands of dollars by giving them lights to get their job done, and until the other stuff came in. But anyway, I'm getting off track.
But I mean, as you were swing back into. That's why most of the poltergeist things, when it's applied to thinking it's being generated by somebody in the house, it has a tendency to lean more towards pubescent or pre-teenage girls.
Yeah.
Not solely to them. I mean, it could be any, because the emotions and all that. If you believe in that theory. The other theory is it's just basically an unhinged ghost that has lost its understanding of what it is, and it's just wreaking havoc.
Well, that's a D&D.
But see,
when you look it up on the monsters, myths, or water spirit, I mean that's how it describes it, right?
Yep.
But if you're so if you're saying it's an unhinged ghost, that would be a haunting. So when I think of poltergeist,
well, not all hauntings are unhinged.
No, but it's kind of like all whiskeys.
But he's ghost, meaning that it had corporeal form at one point in time.
Can you elaborate?
Poltergeist.
No. Take a step back. Elaborate what you just said.
A ghost was once a person.
Yeah, and what makes it so unhinged then?
I don't know. He said unhinged. I was focusing on the word ghost.
What he's saying is
okay. I missed that. I thought you were trying to get to a deeper point on that. So I'm sorry.
Well, but a different.
That's a broad. Point. That was a broad scope.
No, he's just trying to say that if He's putting poltergeist not as a ghost function. It is a supernatural function.
Yes.
Right.
Because ghosts would cause a haunting. If a poltergeist can't be considered a haunting, then it can't be considered a ghost.
I totally disagree.
But you see where I'm going.
No, I get where you're going, but I think a poltergeist is a haunting.
It's a violent haunting.
Oh, this is
And
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying it's
in your brain
complex.
Yes. Well, the problem that we're running into as we're discussing this, there are multiple theories with no way to actually prove it yet. And again, we are, as we have talked about in the past,
but there's theories that lean toward that.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, that we may be trying to put multiple things in the same fucking box.
Yeah,
the reality is there could be a topa, could be a prepubescent teen that is on the verge of being supernatural, and then a unhinged ghost that doesn't realize it's dead anymore or doesn't talk. Right?
So the way I look at it is, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
The way we're looking at it currently is we're putting the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, Jack Frost, all of them in the same box when they should be in separate boxes.
Well, and that's what you just said, separate boxes.
He's trying to clarify what
for the dum-dums like me.
He's putting them in his own separate
let's take
boxes.
a step back. First of all, people, you're not a dum-dum. Okay. Now, you have a problem.
You're not a tech guy.
You're
not that dum-dum.
You have a problem like him and I have. We all have the ADHD.
Oh, yeah,
and we all have a closeness with our sisters that has haunted us our whole lives. So saying that, let's get Pat, because I don't want people thinking that that's your stigma.
So I had a question before we delve further. I want to touch on this.
You touching what?
You touching this?
Before I forget it.
You didn't write it down.
No, you're right. No, you need to say before you forget. Go ahead.
So you said demonic activity can't be considered poltergeist, and I can't remember the reason, but I have a scenario to throw out there at you for you to tell me what differentiates it.
Okay.
So a lot of demonic activity happens gradually. How can you say that the precursor to the possession activity, the stuff moving around and all that kind of stuff that imitates the same kind of activity that a poltergeist has, isn't considered a poltergeist, and then the demon activity just happened later on?
So I understand where you're trying to go with
that.
Okay,
thank you.
The activity the demon does to precurse it is with intent. It may not seem,
but how can you say that?
Well, let me get to it.
One of the big indicators is all your crosses are getting turned upside down or disappearing.
But who's to say a poltergeist can't do that?
Oh, it can, but not generally. It'd also throw chairs around. It'd move, but when you start adding up, well, why are my rosary beads disappeared? Why is this picture of Jesus burned? Generally, when you're talking about why is most religious objects disappearing, versus, I got a circle of chairs in my living room from the kitchen. Why?
But if a poltergeist is a manifestation of feelings from the person creating it, and they're thinking that it's a demon,
you're bringing a different box in.
Yeah, no, I know. But they're thinking that it's demonic in nature, so those types of things are happening based on the manifestation thoughts of what they're thinking.
So generally,
he's looking at me like, "What the fuck?"
We're gonna go general. The deal about the poltergeist is they manifest the energy for things to happen, not actual events. So even though that they're thinking maybe it's demonic, doesn't mean it's going to do demonic things.
Okay, that's fair. I appreciate that.
So, and then we get into, there may be a brief period of time that it's hard to tell whether or not it's poltergeist, demonic, or haunting.
Okay.
That's why you have to do testing. Are you getting EVPs? is holy water boiling when you throw it on somebody. There's a bunch of different ways, but like you said, we're looking at a box and we're starting to throw things in other boxes to figure out what box it should actually be in.
So we've got to test the entities for PTD, paranormally transmitted diseases.
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard of a poltergeist having EVPs.
They don't. That's the whole point. If you got an EVP, that's an intelligent haunter.
Either have I heard of that with a dynamic possession as well?
Sometimes, but not very often.
Okay. So how do you differentiate?
So here's the deal. The problem with the demonic, there may be EVPs.
Not dynamic, but demonic.
Demonic?
I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Okay, demonic. Dynamic? The non-denominational dynamic?
Yeah, it's like algebra.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll be honest, there's a lot of cases of demonic possession. They hear voices. No one that I'm aware of, when they're hearing voices,
That's true.
does EVPs at the time.
No.
Because you're getting talked to. So there may be EVPs
That's true.
that could pick up that thing talking to somebody, but no one's thinking of that.
You're right.
Now, we has as much technology and more awareness of supernatural events and stuff. We have better chances now of somebody actually doing an EVP when they think it could be demonic, and they might. Well, there's one show, everything's demonic, and they got EVPs all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, bro.
What are you? Come on, you're so brave. No, I don't know.
If you're gonna attack somebody, attack me.
You have my permission in my body.
You know the
Did
bad,
you scratch me?
the bad thing about that is
We caught this
and I hate to
orb
admit,
on screen.
I want to go real world with this on the fake bullshit that we see on TV. That my boy here has been put in those positions every fucking time with a certain group. Hey, go into the just up yourself. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Oh no, man, I don't want to do it, dude.
I would love to actually have that person from that show and just interview him on all his experien's to see
The one like Larry.
to see,
Ghost bait.
Well, yeah, just to see, like when we had Juan on, the parallels between me and Juan's growing up and what we encountered. I'd love to see your parallels with the person we're talking about on the show that always gets thrown in.
And I hate to say it, but your trains of thought are the same. Your analytical calculation brain stuff is the same.
Which is I'm going to go over to right field. May cause some of the events that we've had happen be similar because of the way we process things.
Yeah.
Could trigger the same events.
Yeah, that would be curious to find out if we did have the same.
That's what I was saying. Like if you and that person,
you and AA Ron would sit down and talk.
Oh no, he's not talking about A. I thought you were talking about the guy Ghostbait that they would send off by himself in a room.
They run, Aaron.
Oh yeah, that'd be fascinating too.
To me, there's very similarities. And
let me out of this closet, man.
No, you're both the bitches.
Yeah, you're both they're both chummins. Because that's what
no one else is going to do it, so we're going to send you.
And unfortunately, what I read from him, like he ended up getting divorced.
Yeah,
he got divorced, lost all that weight because
so sorry to hear that.
because things came back.
I hate hearing that.
And then, like, out of all of them, he was like, I liked Nick. Nick was a nice guy.
Well, it affected his sister too.
Yeah, that's something that we don't really talk about, the possibilities of things coming back.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about it because they do come back with me.
Some people are magnets,
and
those are the ones. You always
Thank you. Thank you for admitting that.
You need a supernatural magnet and you need a bear magnet, and then you should be good no matter what type of poltergeist, cryptid you're going after. You feel pretty safe.
So after we take this quick break, I want you guys, or it'll probably be JD. no offense.
Damn, it's 135. What the fuck? I know, that was like Jesus.
So one of us might not be coming back after the break. It's probably gonna be you.
You made me snort. When we get back from break, I want you to give me what you think would be a differentiation between a poltergeist and a tulpa.
That's fair.
That's easy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think it's be hard.
Even for a guy like me.
With a 135 IQ, it'd be easy for me.
Mr. 135. 135.
639.
There's 136 right there. Bitch.
I got a 187 for you.
Whoa. I'll find my score for you. I will find that for you.
So we'll be right back, folks. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Gentlemen with the Spirits. We have butterscotch. Butternut squash. Butterscotch nuts. It's only been half a day.
And we call him Parrot Chum as well.
Yeah, Parrot Chum over there.
Parrot Chum butterscotch nuts.
So, bottoms up.
Yeah, bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Motherfuckers.
I thought you said you weren't doing one. It's not strong. Like, it doesn't burn or anything. Does it to you?
I'm too drunk to understand
Okay.
anything right now.
So
the question
now we're back. Somebody had a stupid question.
And obviously cut me out of it because...
Well, then maybe we should let Dave answer it.
Well, if you know...
No, I was actually.
I don't know who Dave is. I know who OG
I
is.
know OG probably has a better question or a better answer than Dave.
Yeah, I would think. Who is Dave?
Dave's a 13.5. Always forgets the decimal points.
Yeah, Dave.
So, your interpretations and differences between a tulpa and a poltergeist.
OG, how'd you like to handle that one?
Tulpa is believed in the existence, where a poltergeist is made of emotion from an adolescent teen.
How would you tell them apart, though?
How would you tell them apart?
Yeah. Like, what would be the defining differences?
Because technically a poltergeist is willed into existence.
Well, but a tulpa is a basic... Well, you're right about that. But tulpas are usually...
no, I'm not. He's just like, no, you're not.
Tulpas are more creature creative, like a wraith or something like that, where a tulpa is... Where a poltergeist is more like a ghost existence of destruction.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fair.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Yeah, fuck you! You're cool. Fuck you.
I would elaborate on. To me, you're right. Like the tulpas generally manifests into something real of like a creature.
Slender Man.
Yes. There's some interesting theories on that.
I won't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with anything you said.
Slap contest.
When you get into the poltergeist, depending on what you think a poltergeist is, you get into if it's a pre-adolescent teen, emotions and stress and all that creates this. It's not willed into existence. It is a byproduct of the stress.
Very nicely said.
Because they don't know that they're doing it.
We're giving him a raise.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's got a 5.25 an hour.
So let me ask you a question. If someone is dealing...
Don't think so.
If someone is dealing with a poltergeist, and say it's a teen in a 4-person family, right?
Yeah, ground that bitch.
Yeah, that helped out a lot.
The other members of the family are witnessing and experiencing the poltergeist activity as well. Does their belief in it existing increase its potential?
So this is
like a tulpa.
You done? Can I answer?
Yeah.
I would like to answer your question, but you keep fucking adding on. Trying to make yourself sound fucking smart.
So here's the problem with that.
Don't hit me.
That's my job. We're getting to this yes and no, as OG would say, because more than likely, if the female is generating it, almost everybody else in that family, because it's usually hereditary, is capable of feeding it.
Oh.
Whether or not they realize it or not. So like you're saying, like it's not like a tulpa.
That's what I'm saying.
Like we would think of as where enough people. So my theory on tulpas, I had a conversation with a village witch in Lawrence, of all things. There used to be a village with. Well, actually,
It's still there. It's still there.
Anyways, we were talking about, and one of the
Want to make sure we know what we're talking about here.
one of the theories that she had was she believed that there were non-human entities that feed off of this stuff. That if you believe enough, they get more and more attracted, and if there's enough of them with enough belief, form into a topa. Well, when you're dealing with a family, that one of the people in the family inadvertently has this ability to project this, and it's doing all this manifestation. Everybody else probably has, but usually doesn't go on the father's side, usually goes on the mother's side. But if there is another daughter, the mom, even the son, if depending on the age, could manifest and make it worse because of their own ability, not realizing it, or be more sensitive and attack one of them because of the connection.
So I want to break that down into
Smaller boxes?
smaller boxes, but I'll go one box at a time. All right. So the first box one. If you're saying that it's hereditary in a family environment, the family members who could also possibly possess the same gift or ability will amplify it. How would you?
Well, keep in mind, it either amplify or detect it more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're a little different, but to the person, they don't seem any different, right?
yeah. Okay. But where I'm going with that is, would this be take, for instance, you have a teenage girl with this ability and is causing paranormal poltergeist activity in an orphanage that she's growing up in. But other people are witnessing it and believing that the activity is happening. Does that not amplify it?
No.
Because they're not hereditarily linked?
No, they're not, because they may not have... I mean, there's still a possibility it could, because they may have other abilities tied to it. Where it could amplify, and this is all theory, is if it was enough activity, and say it's an orphanage of 20 kids, right? Mm-hmm. One of them's having a problem. The other 19 go, oh...
Bitch is crazy.
Oh, no. They don't know what's going on. So they assume it is some malevolent creature like a Slender Man.
Or haunting.
And they start feeding into that. They start saying, "Oh, it's the Hat Man or whatever."
So you're saying a poltergeist activity could feed into a tulpa
if the situation's right with enough people, because
like
they
it.
see that activity.
That's crazy.
I like it.
Yeah.
Because if you have enough people, then that's going to attract enough things to feed it to then generate. And now, without knowing, you actually have two entities. You have the poltergeist activity still going, but now you've generated something.
Because then you could throw it even further, where they think it's a poltergeist activity tied to this girl. She gets adopted, yet this tulpa's still active. And they're like, "What the shit? She's gone. Why is this stuff still happening?"
Yes, exactly. I mean,
that's crazy.
So where'd you come up with that?
His brainy.
Your brainy?
Yeah, my brainy.
Out in left field?
No, that's phenomenal.
No, it's just taking and analyzing what possibilities are.
Do you think that's a real possibility?
I think it is.
It is a probability. How possible?
Okay, I like that.
I think it comes down to how. I mean, because I think we're seeing tulpas now only because of the amount of people that you can reach with videos.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now talking like you can get millions of people. Whereas like
I agree with that.
If you had like just 50 people, maybe you get minor activity if there's enough. Like I mean, if you're all sensitive people and maybe they can generate.
Get rid of it?
But now you got millions.
How do you get rid of the tulpa?
So
you can't.
No, you can. It just that becomes that's a technical thing because
once it's on the internet, it's on the internet.
Well, it's kind of like anything else. You have to take the power away from it, and if it's
how do you do that on the internet?
Yeah, well, that's the deal. Is you have to you'd have to
go on a campaign to
disprove that this is a real thing and this and that.
That's interesting.
Which I'll be honest, now that we're talking about it, I think it's a very similar thing about demonic possessions and stuff like that, because it may not
It has
even
power
be
until you know its name, type of thing.
there's rules and set. I mean, you have to depower it, and
Yeah.
I think everything has a, watch
So that'd be a hell
Supernatural.
of a campaign you'd have to go on to make that happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
There's
Convince-
a lot of
convince-
Here's the
To
problem.
convince the entire party village
I
that
mean-
nothing's happening.
No offense, it's no different than type 2 diabetes. By the time you have type 2 diabetes,
It's too late.
it's massively, it's taken years to get to that. It's going to take years to get rid of it. Not that it's hard, but you can. But it's no different than with these things.
By the way, which is another thing you share with mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good looks.
Told us.
Type 2 diabetes.
Oh,
Mine's
I didn't know you
hereditary.
so are you ready for box 2?
Well, let's go to box 2.
Oh, shit.
Have I answered
Wait a
box
minute.
1?
Yeah, yeah.
Box 1 was pretty crazy.
Well, you got box 2 all over. It's like box 2.
He just manifested.
I hate to say this, but I think he might
Right,
be
yeah.
able to close box 2
I hate to say it too. because
better than the two of us.
That's kind of fucked up. Go
But
ahead.
box 1's locked and sealed, waxed, tied with
That's a divot
yarn.
box.
Yeah.
Whoa, he said waxed. When's the last
Box.
time you've been waxed?
Never.
Oh, never mind. We'll just keep moving on.
Mine was 3 weeks ago, but
Waxed?
yeah.
Like dingling wax?
We didn't say where. We just said waxed.
Could be
No,
your back.
I've-
Could be your
I've
back. Could be your chest.
Never
Could be your
been waxed.
nose, ears,
Yeah,
eyebrows.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why not?
No, I've never been waxed.
Well,
I've
you
heard,
can
I've
tell.
heard it hurts.
No, only for pussies.
Box 2. Box 2, you're dealing with someone that has the ability in manifesting paranormal poltergeist activity.
Said
Going-
person.
Going down the road of Jean Grey from the X-Men.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay. That's in your
How
box.
can we say that it's
It's just Marvel.
yeah. Nothing?
I'm sorry. That was
You're right. You're right. It is. It's not DC. Sorry.
How can we potentially say that it's poltergeist and not early onset manifestations of extrasensory? What do they call that? Where people can move things with their mind?
Telekinesis.
Telekinesis abilities.
Because generally poltergeist activity is you don't control it. It manifests itself.
But that's the same thing that happened with Jean Grey. She couldn't control until Xavier put those barriers in her mind. She couldn't control
Well, that's
And
what was being
that-
moved.
That's the movie.
That's me.
Yeah, no, I know it's a
I'm
movie.
not arguing with you on that point. You're bringing up a valid point on this. If you had
Yes.
no, he actually does. Because
Okay,
if it's
Thank you. Fuck you.
if you have that much
What?
power, like telekinetic
Telekinesis,
capabilities,
yeah.
I mean, trying to, because that ability is so rare and very hard to prove you even have it. I would think it would mess with your mind. Now, I think a female would be the least of your worries.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is a female with being able to multitask and be able to understand, compared to a guy that had that ability, it's either off or on
With the guy.
with a guy.
There's no
it's
dimmer
on.
switch.
Yeah, there's no dimmer switch of trying. Oh, maybe it would be
yeah.
nuts for a guy to have that and be dealing, because I mean, I don't know mentally if we would be able to handle that
I would agree with that.
versus a female being able to understand that maybe she's affecting this. Maybe it's emotion, maybe it's not, maybe it's something else.
But she's able to take you to different levels, right?
Yes, she can put it in multiple boxes.
She's
to
able
try
to
make
analyze it as it's happening.
Right.
As
Yeah.
opposed to
But the
us,
guy-
it happened.
It's off
Shit's
her.
not happening again.
Yeah,
It's
well, I mean,
off
yeah, it's either not happening or it's going fucking nuts because you then focus on it because you're not sure.
Yeah. You're in panic mode.
Yeah, but again, we're all basing this on theory of we're assuming the poltergeist activity
Sorry.
is being generated by the emotional distress, which I'll be honest, I'm more surprised now we don't see more poltergeist activities with the anxiety, and maybe it's all the drugs that we're giving, but no, of everybody. I mean, the amount of stress that social media causes and anxiety.
Who says we're not though?
So,
But no, we're not seeing the poltergeist activity. That's where everybody has phones, right?
So
everybody would be filming this stuff happening.
So much.
So, do you think that there's a correlation between the decrease in poltergeist activity in the world with the development of antipsychotics like Prozac? Because those became prominent in the early to mid 90s. And that'd
be an interesting study to look at, because I would think that would help, because you're cutting the stress. Because like I mean honestly, I've been on Prozac before. It took away my give a fuck. Like I didn't care about, and I got off of it.
But the 19th century you were so just pushed away. It was just so stifled, right? There was no outlet. There was no. What am I trying to think of?
I'm going all the way up to the 1980s.
Yeah, I just think
you drank from a water hose, but the
I did.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I mean we did a bunch of shit with very little supervision, but our Cape that'd be an interesting conversation. Is how many Gen Xers are on antidepressants or antipsychotics?
Well.
Because it could correlate to why we're not seeing as much poltergeist activity that we. Because I remember when the movie came out, and there was people talking about stuff.
And that's the next topic I want to get on.
I can do real quick, and I don't know if we even want to put this out on film, but I remember talking to the doctor, and he was giving me a psychoanalysis, and he goes, "You ever think about killing yourself?" Right?
They have to ask that.
Yeah. And I'm like.
The answer is always no. No, never.
You should never be honest, by the way. I'm like,
that's not what I said, OG. I said the answer is no. I didn't say you should be lying.
Yeah. but even
this showed a lot right now.
I say, and my response to him was, well, who hasn't thought about if I just ended, it's over with, I don't have to worry about it no more. And the next thing I know, he's prescribing me mind-altering drug, and he goes, just when you try this, it's an antidepressant, blah, blah. And I remember taking it, I'm thinking, this is not who I am. I don't like the way I'm feeling.
I very same thing, except my doctor didn't tell me, by the way, don't cold turkey this shit, because it could cause a manic depressive event.
Oh, shit.
I just called him and said, fuck you, I'm not taking this.
Yeah, well, I started taking it, and I'm like, I didn't like the way it was making me feel.
Then
I found out later that I was like, oh shit, this could have actually altered. And I think that's part of the issues that we're having, is people get on it not realizing if you cold turkey it can swing you the other way.
Well, that's why it's called practicing medicine, and not being what it should be. But it's weird. But getting to your point, it is where we are medicating people when they're not able to do what we're talking about. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I would be seriously.
Am I out of line? I'm pretty drunk. Am I out of line here?
No, I think. Well, and that's what we're kind of hitting at, is how much we're influencing people with mind-altering drugs of some sort. Mm-hmm. Is that affecting? Because
it's like that movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale, where they take art, emotion, everything has been stripped. And everybody's required to take a pill every day that suppresses all emotions, feelings, and all that stuff. And he stops taking it as a cop, I think is what he is.
That's called marriage.
Mm-hmm.
No. But that's it's basically the same concept.
Yeah. I mean, because we're assuming what we're talking about is poltergeist being generated by emotion,
distraught.
Yeah, pinup, which. I think there's some possibilities of that. I mean, there's, we've talked about, you're a salesman. You have to read people, and there's a fine line between reading somebody.
Oh yeah, when you're not wanted, when you are wanted, you have to be able to read. I
know the feeling.
I have a client that I just used to be really connected with, and lately I just feel like not wanted, or what has turned this? What has changed? So I'm always trying to find a way to reconnect with them or something like that.
That's a good question.
And then, I think...
I always say, is it my podcast?
What?
Yeah, that's why I said, what?
What?
He said my podcast is why that disconnect all of a sudden happened because they knew about it. So
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't know we were still talking about the same thing. I was confused there for a second. Sorry.
It's
Keep
okay.
up, Parachump. Keep up.
All right.
But I mean, because I look at that, I personally enjoy playing poker, card games, and that. But I realize I'm not good at online.
On the game, you'd rather do it face to face so you can read.
Yes, it's reading somebody and getting the emotional feedback from them.
Interesting.
But I think that
But
goes
that's
back
how it
to-
works.
Yeah.
You
There's
need
so much.
You
that
have to
can-
be able to read the person. You
And some
can't
of
do
it
on the
may be
computer.
just facial tics and all that.
Sure.
I think it goes a little deeper once you're getting into it. Gets into the intuition and
Body
being able.
language.
Yeah, because I've watched some of the top poker players in the world, and for them to make certain calls and be able to do what they do is almost supernatural.
Yeah.
They're beating the odds. But then you start getting into, okay, what are we capable of doing? If you can do that, what else can you do?
And
You see the chip coffees of the world.
I hate to say this and bring this up, but I watched while I was doing some editing this morning,
Porn?
like 4 a.m. I watched a movie I'd never seen with Will Smith and Margot Robbie called Focus. I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh, that the scam artist.
the Scam Artists, but the long con,
Yeah.
where they subliminally inhibit.
They put. Yeah, they're trying to get a certain outcome by saying certain things.
But I don't think that's true of the poker professionals. I'm just saying that
Well,
we are
there's something to that.
we are capable of serious manipulation
Absolutely.
when it comes to
Absolutely.
others' focus.
And I wonder how much of that is not what people used to call magic. I mean,
yeah, or witchcraft.
Is the ability to influence other people, and how much of that, I hate to say it, we have it soft. I mean, when you're talking about medieval times, you don't. Your life expectancy is 30. The fight or flight.
You're having kids at 12.
Yeah, I mean, the stress, the fight or flight. I mean, the stuff that can manifest. Like if we're talking that's what causes poltergeists. What if it goes another direction?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Merlin and wizards and witches and all
learned to
that
control
start becoming more probable if that's truly something real.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, I think that's where your mental is coming as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's a lot. There's a fine line between the science of that and to the point it's almost magical. And the really good magicians blend it.
Yeah.
They make you think whether or not that is real or not.
I still to this day don't know how David Copperfield made the fucking Statue of Liberty disappear.
Mirrors.
Well, please don't tell me.
Okay. It wasn't mirrors.
I don't want to.
And camera angles. It had nothing to do with the cameras.
Okay, I said don't tell me.
I didn't. I tell you, it had
He
nothing
said
to
it had nothing to do with mirrors or
do
cameras.
with the cameras. How they did shot the video.
Let's divert subjects on the Poltergeist
Was the
phenomenon.
box 2 closed up?
Box 2 is perfectly closed. It's sealed with blood and urine. We're good.
No wax though.
No wax.
So it's not going to stay shut. It's just going to
and
smell
the
bad.
bleeding stopped.
It's tied up with human hair. How does that work? I don't know. Speaking of the movie Poltergeist from the 80s.
Fuck that movie.
Great movie though.
Great
Yeah.
movie, but yeah,
Scared
when
the
you
shit
get
out of
into
me.
it, those were real
But-
bodies in that pool.
What the
Yes.
Who the fuck does that?
But
It was cheaper than buying the
Yeah, but
plastic
who
ones.
does that?
I think they...
Where's the
Hollywood.
Where's the?
Morality.
Yeah. Thank
he-
you. Where's that?
You're
At?
welcome.
Diddy's Basement.
Diddy's basement with the baby lotion.
Epstein's Island. Speaking of... talking about the movie. I personally think they loosely used the term poltergeist for the activity that was happening, because when you look at the activity throughout that movie and that the family actually experienced in real life, and the movie was fantasticized.
You got it.
You know where I'm going with it. Embellished. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. My parrot on myself.
He's cutting that out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There was a lot of poltergeist activity in the beginning with the moving of the chair and all that other kind of stuff.
Yep.
But then you get into...
It turned into a haunting.
Not only a haunting, but it turned into a tulpa.
No, so actually a tulpa.
That creature that manifested,
No, because
that chased him down the hallway, that was all gory and gutsy and...
so she was talking to things on the other side. They're here means they're entities that were coming across. And what
Is a
it ended,
tulpa not an entity?
Well, no, she was like a
she was a medium,
like
a small medium.
like a transponder.
Yeah,
a radio.
transponder.
She was no
picking
transponder.
What it came down to was the fact that was all the dead bodies, the spirits, the people
were coming through her.
were coming through
Yeah.
because they were on top of a graveyard. They didn't move the bodies.
Yeah,
Which
so...
is not
But
poltergeist
she could see
activity.
him, and she was the light, and they were coming to her.
And they
on
were
that.
using her
Yeah.
to be able to break the veil
Yeah.
and come through to drive people out because they
But
were
it's a
upset.
movie, so what are we talking
Yeah.
about?
No, I know.
Well, because it made that term very popular.
It popularized
They
that
did
term.
a very good job in the beginning to show what
So it was poltergeist activity.
activities.
Yeah.
Up to a point, like you said, this is where you get into. You have to do tests and that to figure out whether is it truly a poltergeist or is it.
But does that mean that activity that was happening early on in the movie was poltergeist activity?
No, it was.
So it shouldn't have been called poltergeist.
No, it should have been. Once they.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't have been called poltergeist. It should have been a haunting of. Because it ended up being all the
Fucked up
spirits
day in the
of-
burbs.
Yeah. But I mean, I get why they called it poltergeist because the activity that they first experienced was very atypical poltergeist activity. But like we're saying,
And the case that was in the national court system was for poltergeist activity that the movie was
they
based on.
literally said that house was haunted with poltergeist activity by law.
That was their ruling.
It's one of the first ever houses to be classified as haunted. It wasn't poltergeist; it was haunted. But anyways, yes, no. What I get what you're saying, but yeah, you're right. It shouldn't have been called poltergeist. It should have been called like the haunting of the suburbs. But poltergeist sounded cooler. The activity that they show right off the bat is
Poltergeist
atypical.
activity.
Yeah, I mean that's what you would expect.
And there was a daughter, Carrie Ann, I think was her name.
Yeah,
And there was a teenager,
pneumonia.
a teenage daughter going out, and she was obviously going through her hormonal balances and or whatever you want to say it, which would cause poltergeist activity.
Yeah, no, fair.
But
So,
once
I don't know.
because it also went past that, like the guy seeing the maggots in his food and then then his
Peeling his
face.
skin off
That
the
is
beard.
not
No.
that. I mean,
That's
that,
demonic.
Yeah, that is pushing
That
demonic.
was absolutely.
And which so again they embellished on everything on the movie that they mixed a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah, they threw all these boxes
Yeah.
in a giant.
Well,
tote.
they had to. They were trying to make the movie
Yes,
worth
I mean,
watching, right? So
yes,
they
they
just
had
kind
to
of
do
like,
the
here's
shock
the
and
starting.
awe.
Okay, where do we go from here? We have to explode.
Yeah.
And we talked about this briefly earlier, that sometimes the embellishing. What'd you see?
Just something out of the corner of my eye caught me by the bear, but by the time I looked, couldn't see it.
We talked about the embellishing in media and movies and shows and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that the interpretation portrayed in that movie and in future movies in that series has diminished the perception of poltergeist activity or altered it in any way?
No, I think what it's altered more than anything is how we perceive demonic stuff.
Well, everything's demonic nowadays.
Well, yes, but
Including a certain house in Ashton, Kansas.
Yeah. But the problem I have with it's like Screaming Wolf.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Please go to the bathroom.
All right,
Use
folks.
the
I'll be
bathroom.
back. You guys can.
No, we'll be right back after these quick messages from us as sponsors.
Have you shaved your balls today? If not, here's.
Have you waxed?
So,
welcome back. First of all,
welcome back. We're back after our quick shaking the dew off the lily.
Been at this for 10 hours today.
It's just normal day work. Putting in the hours and the drinking to be where we need to be at.
Way too much drinking for 10 hours straight.
So what I was getting at is with the demonic, everybody calling it demonic, we have a tendency to, I think it's like the boy who called wolf. We don't take as much stuff as seriously.
Yeah. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah. The demonic part of it, it's usually slow. It starts. There are cases, even in the United States, that have been stated that it was demonic. It's very rare, but it's out there.
Yeah.
And again, that's one of those things that it is super rare to come across something like that in today's day and age. But there is that possibility.
Do you think that's because we've lost sight of mass organized religion?
No, I think some. Well,
Here it comes.
No, I mean it's a serious question.
There's a fine line. There's a theory behind the closer you are to God, the more the demons attack.
That's for sure. But I
keep my friends close, but my enemies closer.
Well, I think it's not so much
It's more
organized religion. It's more spiritual.
Yeah, I didn't even say church. I just said the closer you are to God.
Yeah.
The more they're attracted to you. So the more.
But so can a non-devout Catholic?
Oh yeah.
Fall under demonic possession?
Sure.
I think any spiritual person.
Because okay, no. I'm saying, but they won't recognize it as demonic activity or possession because they're not a Catholic.
See it as a
Poltergeist?
Elemental or non-human entity. But
is that fair?
Manitou.
Well, nothing's fair when it comes to this, right? I mean, everything's off the.
Yeah, but I'm being genuinely serious, like honest.
I am too.
Curious.
I think some of it. So this is going to be a little controversial.
I mean, it's like denying someone health care because they don't have health insurance.
I think it comes down to your beliefs and faith. What you're believing in, no different than you could per se Topa. I think we put off energy when we're believing in something and are very righteous. Yeah, but also protects to some extent. You can repel things.
Absolutely.
But say you're a Baptist and you're dealing with a demonic possession. You devoutly believe that it can't harm you, but it's gotten to the point where you can't control it. You need help. Mm-hmm. But the Catholics refuse your help. They
rarely do that when it comes to the type of activity.
Well, there's always like a test and many investigations, but
doesn't a lot of it delve down into that you're not a Catholic, so we can't help you?
No, you don't have to just go Catholic. I mean, there's
I thought that was a big stipulation.
No, not at all. You can go different religions.
So most people don't understand.
If you're a Baptist, why can't you go Baptist?
The Book of Exorcism isn't a Catholic book. It wasn't.
You're putting Catholic religion with exorcism. They're not the only ones that do exorcisms.
So
I thought they were.
No. It's a separate book.
Yeah.
The demonology and exorcism is separate. The reason why it gets pushed towards Catholicism, it is one of the oldest Christian religions and has most knowledge of it,
based upon tradition,
of tradition and that. I mean, the Jewish people with the Torah, there's some information in there. There's some pretty interesting things on golems and protections.
Yeah, that's fat. I would love to talk about golems in general.
Well, I mean, that's where the divot box comes
I'm being
from.
serious.
There are
stone golem. Well, what are we talking about?
There's a bunch of different golems. Iron golems.
They're typically clay. because you could mold it to
the shape that
you want it to.
I'm just saying,
And the
because
protectors.
Frankenstein was a flesh golem.
Technically,
Was he not?
He was. He was a flesh golem, and we kind of discussed on that.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
So, as we're saying, there are other ways. It's not just one religion. I think all religions, in general, have part of it right, but not all of it. Like there's some truth in everything out there. They just don't have the whole truth. They all have some power to some extent.
Let me. I was at a
Convention.
a seminar with John Tenney,
A seminar.
and he was a seminar. No, that was back in '88. The porn convention. I'll never do that film again. I promise. I just needed the money.
You only had to do it once. It's out there.
Yeah, so I would advise anybody to look it up. Housewives that are horny. Anyway, saying that, I was at a convention and he was talking about how a Buddhist, a Catholic priest, and evangelist were all performing an exorcism on this person. I don't want to say who it was or what it was. Because they had to collaborate to get this done. Because obviously this certain person had a certain religion that they believed, which took an Asian persuasion to get it taken care of. And by the time they got it done, Asian persuasion. So by the time they got it done, they were able to accomplish the feat by exorcising the demon. And he asked
Treadmill, elliptical.
Pretty much.
It's pretty much pull-ups. But anyway, he asked him, why don't you guys just say, hey, this all works? Because they were all saying, hey, we're all trying to climb to the top of the mountain. We're just on different sides of the mountain. But we all have the same goal.
Yeah, but it comes down to deep down, can someone believe that conviction wholeheartedly swapped in an instant?
But the thing is that it took all three of them to collaborate to get this job done. This exorcism.
So what I'm getting at is, say you're dealing with a Buddhist and you find out like the only reason or the only way we're going to get rid of this thing is if you believe in the power of Jesus Christ. When you've been a Buddhist all your life and you're like, all right, I believe Jesus Christ is my savior. In that instant,
I'll say that again.
Jesus Christ is your savior.
No, it's my savior. Say it again.
Jesus Christ is JD's savior. But what I'm saying is my savior. In that instant, you've swapped
Wow.
an entire lifetime of devout belief and devotion.
Because we're all trying to get to the same place.
Because we're all trying to get to the same place.
Yeah.
But do you truly mean it? Does it hold power?
Only if you truly mean it.
But how can you truly mean it in an instant?
Why can't you? Give me a reason why you can't.
Because your entire belief system is...
There's a light switch that just clicks.
Well, I don't have any lights.
Nobody's home.
No one's home.
Nobody's home.
No candy for you.
They're knocking, but no one's home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's for everybody. Is there's a click, and you can get into conspiracy theories. There's a reason why a lot of Hollywood actors go devout.
Are drinking blood of innocent children.
Well, but then you have others that get really close, and then all of a sudden they get really devout, and then all of a sudden they're outcast from Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Good point.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's like
it's happening now.
Well, it's been happening for years. Because like, what was her name? That she did all the tattoos. Cat
She
went really religious, and
I don't know much. I know who she is.
Kat Von Denning.
I don't know much about her.
Yeah, she broke up Jesse James and Sandra Bullock, but she's very devout now. And it's good, but the reason why they talk about it is when you get that close to evil, you have a realization that once you realize that is real, that means the other side's also real.
Also real.
It's hard to believe in the light if there's not darkness. And if you see the true darkness, you hope there is true light.
Can't believe in the Jedi and not the Sith.
Oh,
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, I that's fascinating. I like that thought process.
And like I believe coming across something like that is very rare. Not impossible, but more rare than what people realize. But it's still, to come across a diamondback, you still need to be cautious. There could be potential.
So what you're talking about in layman's terms is epiphany situation.
Yeah, you have an epiphany and that just clicks.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
that was well said.
Yeah. Coming to Jesus moment.
Pretty much.
Again, well said.
Yeah. So to close this out.
Because we went everywhere on this, right?
No,
Yeah,
really.
we got all boxes all over the place.
Yeah.
Which I think is phenomenal. To
Well, not for me because I was drunk the whole damn time. So I do apologize for that.
drunk
You did
or
answer-
still drunk.
Still drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you answered one of the boxes.
Did I?
Yeah, you did the.
You have no idea what you said, but
It was an accident. Okay, if I did it, I just thought I was mumbling this crap to make myself like I was part of the team.
So to close this
He was the
out,
ball coach.
if you're placing your bets and hedging your bets on Poltergeist Phenomenon is real, how would one go about dismantling or stopping that activity in their lives or in someone's life?
Wow.
You got silence.
So for me, the first step would be get them out of the house. To get them to a hotel, see if the activity follows.
You no longer live here, bitch.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean the whole family. You want to
You're
get
out.
them to a different.
I really love you, but you got to go.
You have to get them to a different location.
Yeah.
See if the activity follows. If it follows, now you're thinking something's at least attached or possible to a person.
So the activity we've had tonight in my house
could possibly be attached to somebody.
be attached to somebody, and when he leaves, it's gone.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Well, we will, won't we?
You have to go through steps to figure out.
It's a process.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's not going to be a very fast process because we're practicing here.
Well, and there's a lot of things to rule out that if you rule one out, it can't necessarily rule this other out. You have to
It makes a really good video, right? Me yawning.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's gonna put a dick in that.
in the lab.
Well, he'll try.
It's like in the lab when you're trying to identify a bacterial organism.
You mean like a scientific method?
Yeah, like a scientific method. You can't say, well, this one test, a gram stain, it was gram negative, so it has to be this bacteria. There's millions of different bacteria that have a gram negative trait. You have to do other testing to narrow it down and isolate what's positive and negative to identify it.
And then you also need to revalidate it to
Yeah.
make sure you didn't make a mistake.
Yep. So
That's what you need to do on any type of activity. That's part of debunking. It's a scientific process.
And that's the hard part with the paranormal is that it's totally unpredictable and not reproducible to an extent. So it's hard to replicate.
We're still in infant stages of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. No, we're in the dark ages right now when it comes to paranormal activity.
Not even that far.
Yeah, we might even be the
There's some nice Stone
Age.
Stone Age.
Yeah.
Bronze Age.
Stone Age
maybe.
is good. Stone Age is good. I accept that.
So thank you guys for watching this episode.
Hopefully it's worth something. Hopefully you got something out of it.
Yeah. Make sure to click and subscribe.
I got a
and
hangover out of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
tomorrow, I guarantee
Yeah,
you.
I'm really effed on this one.
Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Patreon,
that helps us.
everything you
My
can think
Patreon
of.
and look, check out the tiers
And
or my tiers.
before we close out,
Comes tiers.
if reincarnation is real and a ghost passes on and dies, does it get reincarnated as a ghost?
Well, if it's a ghost, it's already dead.
But
I mean,
if
it goes to the light.
it goes to the light, does it get reincarnated as a ghost?
No.
Thanks for watching.